Hey y'all, T-Ham141 here. It's time to get real. It's here. I do not want to scare anyone. I do not want to alarm anyone. Guys, the other day I filled up with gas and it was $4.77 American per gallon. From several different sources I have heard it been said by August 1st we're going to be looking at $6 a gallon. The president has been talking about food shortages, okay, and I'm not going to get into the whys and the therefores. And August 1st, $6 a gallon for gas. If this happens, now guys, I'm not saying this has happened. That's why I'm saying don't be scared. I went to North Carolina, Wendy and I, with my sister and a couple of my sisters and my nephews, and we went to swim out to a sandbar. Well, the red flags were out, but you know, we're all strong swimmers, and the sandbar was too deep underwater, or had moved, or whatever sandbars do. We couldn't find it, so we started swimming back. Well, I got caught in a rip current. And I said, okay, not a problem. No need to panic, Tracy. Roll over on your back and just float. Because that is what I was brought up to do. If you're having problems, you need to rest or whatever, you flip over on your back and you just float for a few minutes and catch your breath and relax, and everything will be fine. I rolled over on my back and waves just pummeled me. I just could not. I was close enough in that the waves were starting to break, and I just could not catch a breath. So I turned over. My nephews were swimming in front of me, and I said, Lee and Justin, I said, I need help. And they laughed at me because I'm Uncle Tracy. I'm, you know, big war hero. I was in good shape back then, and they kind of laughed at me, and then they said that I screamed a scream they never wanted to hear from me again, and went under. I had panicked at that moment. They grabbed hold of my arm, each grabbed hold of my arms and threw me up, and as soon as I was like 5 feet in front of them, I could touch. But I had lungs full of water. Oh, it was nasty. Why do I tell you this? When I panicked, had it not been for them, I would have died. Had I kept my head about me, then there's a good chance I might have been able to make it that 10 feet, 15 feet to where I could touch. But I panicked, and that was when it was over for me, had it not been for them. Do not panic. Keep your wits about you. When you panic, your mind is racing. It focuses on the wrong things. Now, I'm not saying that this is actually going to happen in August 1st, the $6 gas. And I've heard estimates saying it could go up to $10 a gallon, US dollar. We've already seen baby formula. Babies have been put in the hospital. Parents can't get baby formula. They're feeding them the wrong things. Canned milk and Carol's syrup. Mix them together, it makes a formula for babies. All of us kids were brought up on it, and my mom had 6 kids, so we have been saying this for a long time. Wendy and I moved to this homestead 5 years ago because we knew that we needed to do something. We needed more room. We needed to become more self-sufficient. I mean, there were other reasons. If you can't see the signs, take our word for it. I hate to say that, but you're nose blind. There have been instances where a kid comes into youth group years ago. I'll never forget it. And kid comes up and he gives me a great big hug, and that's not a problem, you know. But boy, oh boy, he smelled like cat urine, and it was bad. And I said, listen, I just want to let you know, I'm smelling some cat urine on you. He couldn't smell it, and it was strong. Well, come to find out, the cats had started using his closet is a place to go to the bathroom. But he couldn't smell it. He was nose blind. Was it his fault? Absolutely not. Don't let your nose blindness, in this case your situational awareness, get the best of you here. I believe 100% in the prophecy of the Bible, because every part that has been able to come true so far has come true. And the Bible says it's going to get bad. Okay, we're in Matthew 24, chapter 24. Read it. Now, it's got to get bad. God is working out his agenda, because that's how the Antichrist is going to rise in power. I believe he is going to come, things are going to get bad, and he is going to come up with a resolution for everything, a way to end everything. If you haven't started, start preparing. Find someone who works somewhere that has 5-gallon buckets. Go to bakeries and say, hey, do you have any 5-gallon buckets that I can get from you? Empty 5-gallon buckets. Bakeries get a lot of their ingredients in 5-gallon buckets. Those make awesome planters. I'm using them in my greenhouse right now. Buy what seeds you can. I know seeds are starting to get expensive, and I know they're hard to find. I had a hard time finding spaghetti squash seeds. I actually bought a spaghetti squash for seeds because I love spaghetti squash. Buy a little extra. Guys, I know it hurts. There is going to come a point when you're going to be working 2 hours of your work day just to be able to afford to get to work and home that day for gas. I am not trying to alarm you, but good God, Gertie, man, it's time to say, hey, the government is not going to be able to help me. The government is the ones causing this mess. I am not a financial guru. Look at me. Yeah. Washington is going to do what it's going to do. The world is going to go the way it's going to go. I don't want you and your family to know the feeling of hunger. Okay? I'm not a professional gardener. I'm not one of these guys that I tell you what I learn as I go. Am I a homesteader? Absolutely, 100%. My heart's there. Am I a good homesteader? I'm doing all right, but boy, oh boy, you take away my pension and it would get really tough. If you have 6 weeks, now is the time to start. Stuff you need. Go to your pantry. If you have one, you're ahead of a lot of people. Go to your pantry and look and say, okay, this is what we're short on. Figure out what you need to do to begin cooking from scratch. It is so much cheaper. Start preserving your food, learning how to do that. Now, some people say, well, Tracy, I don't have the money to buy a dehydrator. Fair enough. Fair enough. Did you know if you have a propane stove with a pilot oven with a pilot light, you can dehydrate in it? It actually works quite well. My mom did it for years. You can actually take a window and a box and make a solar dehydrator. I've done it. I had a solar wax melter to melt my beeswax. All it was a box, a black sheet piece of old metal, and a window, an old window. Where there's a will, there's a way. But you need to start if you haven't started. And if you have started, now is the time to top off. There might not be a chance later. I'm really concerned for people. I don't want to see people going hungry. I don't want to see people going without. Guys, a few weeks ago, I had a little bit of extra cash. There's no such thing as extra cash, but at the end of the month, I had money left over from my groceries because I allocate so much money for my groceries, so much money for my gas. That is starting to get strained. And I had money left over in the grocery envelope. And what did I see? I saw, for like $20, I saw a bidet. that hooks on your toilet. Now I haven't hooked it up, okay? But boy, oh boy, if there's a shortage of toilet paper, or I have to start knocking things out or using less of things, I can hook that bidet up. I have to have water anyway. I collect rainwater, it's free. Hook up that bidet, and that will keep me from having to spend money on that thing. Now, it was just a little bit of extra money. I didn't spend it all that month. The signs are there. Start thinking about being a provider rather than a consumer. Equip your children, people. The world they're growing up in is going to be more like the 1800s, early 1900s than the 21st century. Okay? We have had it easy. All right, y'all, I got to get to work before it gets too hot out today. I got a lot planned, so y'all have a great day. Check out this playlist and this video, and y'all have a great day, and God bless.